you.
Sure. Hi, Tim. Tom. Sorry. Commiserations. Maybe we'll start with just looking back at these last 4 days. What pleased you the most in this test?
Look, I think from our point of view, something that we always talk about is the character and the effort that this group can put in. Obviously, when you get bowled out for 60 in your first innings, it obviously puts you behind the eight ball. But something that we talked about was the character of the group and trying to have a presence and try to put in as much effort as you can. And I think we've certainly done that over the last 4 days. Take the first innings out of it, then and obviously a little bit of a different story, and certainly something that I can't fault from this group at all.
Have you been able to put your finger on sort of what went wrong on Saturday? Obviously it all happened very quickly.
Look, I think it's one of those things in cricket where everything you do sort of doesn't tend to work, and I think it was just one of those days that happens in cricket, and we've done that to teams at different times around the world, but unfortunately it was our time, and yeah, things didn't quite unfold the way we would have wanted. So, but I guess from our point of view, you got to take a lot of learnings from it, and I think the way that we were able to come out in the second innings and guys sort of change their game plans a little bit and put a little bit more pressure on the bowlers. As we know here in India, the longer you go throughout the match, the harder it gets to bat. So, it was just one of those games, unfortunately, where we couldn't quite get the right result.
Yeah, and even in the second innings, though, it's all over within an hour. On the fourth morning, only made 167. Obviously, it is tough conditions, but do you think there was room for more in terms of making India work for the win?
As I said, the longer you go on in India, the tougher it gets, and we know how good they are in their own conditions. And I guess from a batting point of view, it's important that your batters do the bulk of the work. The bulk of the work, and unfortunately we were 5 down overnight, but we had full confidence that guys could go out there and try to apply themselves for as long as they could, but unfortunately it didn't quite work out today.
Yeah, and just lastly, we saw Will Young bat with you in Campur. We've seen Rachin bat some pretty long periods in both tests. We saw Daryl Mitchell in the second innings here. These are some of the, I guess, less experienced or the newer faces coming into this team, and really putting their hand up and giving some competition heading into the home summer.
Yeah, you're right, and I think for those three guys that you just mentioned, I'm pretty sure it's their first time to this part of the world, and for them to step up at different times throughout the match and or the two games, and to make contributions throughout the Test series, it was outstanding. And as you said, it was great for the depth of New Zealand cricket to have more exposure in these conditions, and the more you play in these parts of the world, the more you sort of learn and you're able to grow your game. So obviously very pleasing for those guys, but also everyone else. There are learnings there to take, and next time we are in these conditions or similar conditions, and hopefully those learnings will be put to practice next time.
Thanks, Tom. Safe travels.
Cheers. Thank you.
Hi, Tom. It's Derry here from TVNZ. You mentioned at the top that you were impressed with the fight and the character, but I guess some people will look at that second Black Caps innings, particularly maybe some of the senior players, and think they didn't want to knuckle down and make India work for it. So I guess with that in mind, was everybody happy with the character and fight showed from 1 to 11?
I think so. Look, I think in these conditions, you can't just allow them to bowl. They're very good. They're very accurate, and they don't give you much to hit. So for us, it's about trying to put a little bit more pressure on them to get a few more fielders away from the bat, because we know that they don't miss that often. So for us, it was about guys having a certain plan and being able to stick to that. And unfortunately, if you have a plan and you get it out, then that's the game we play, and that's cricket. So I think that's sort of, it's up to each individual in terms of how they like to approach their innings.
Sure, but I guess there, some of you, yourself and Henry took the approach of being positive, but also showing a bit of respect to a good ball, which, as you mentioned, Indian spinners bowl a heck of a lot of good balls on their own turf. Not to pick individuals, but you look at someone like Ross with his experience. Was that the innings that you needed from him?
Look, Ross obviously had the approach where he wanted to try put put their bowlers under pressure, and as soon as you do that, subcontinent teams tend to take players away from the bat pretty quickly, and unfortunately for Ross, it didn't quite work out for him. But I'm sure that was the plan that Ross had, heading into that innings.
And yeah, just to, and maybe last one from me, it's obviously brought an end to a long stint you guys have been away. Just give us a taste of, is there, quite a sense of fatigue amongst the travelling contingent, and then you guys ready to come home?
I think different guys have been away from home for different periods of time. Obviously, there was a test group that came. We haven't been over here for very long, but obviously the T20 guys have been away from home for a long time, but we know as international cricketers, that's part of our job and what we need to do. And spending time away from home is what happens. And I guess the schedule with being a T20 World Cup and then the Test series after it has meant a little bit of a prolonged time away from home. But I know the guys will be looking forward to getting home, spending a little bit of time around Christmas with families and reconnecting with them before we start our preparations for the Bangladesh Test coming up.
Cheers, Tom. Safe travels, mate. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Tom. Just one question for me. New Zealand was softened by pace at the start before they were undone by spin. What is, do you think the New Zealand batters need to work against pace more or against spin?
I think it's a mixture of everything. At times over here you're going to be faced with, with the seamers with the new ball, but you're also going to be challenged, with the spinners with the new ball. So, I think as cricketers, you're always looking to improve. You're always looking to get better, and I'm sure the guys will be looking to do that. When they get home, different times that we travel different parts of the world. So, it's a mixture of everything.
Cool. Thanks very much, everyone. Thanks for your time, Tom.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.